Quantic Dreams accused of a toxic work environment, Square Enix has announced the Royal Edition of Final Fantasy XV, and Nintendo drops an interesting add-on for the Switch in the way of the Labdo. I'm Ninja Noxai, and this is Ninja News. First things first, on the docket, Quantic Dreams has been accused of a toxic environment from 3 different news outlets. Reports from 3 separate news outlets has stated that Quantic Dreams, the studio famous for David Cage's games such as Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, is rife with inappropriate behavior, sexist and homophobic jokes, I should say, and an overall toxic environment. Quantic Dreams has then released a statement on Twitter denying any issues inside the studio, but also stating that they will be investigating the issue internally. David Cage has also issued a statement saying it's best to judge him by his work, as he's previously worked with Ellen Page and Jesse Williams. My thoughts on this. So, I hate to say this, but I'm not surprised. If you've played or witnessed any of the Quantic Dreams games or paid any controversy, any attention to the controversy behind David Cage and his work, you'll notice a pattern on how the games portray sensitive issues and even go so far as cross the lines for the sake of the game itself. From blatant mistreatment of women, trivializing domestic abuse, and even all the way to modeling Ellen Page's naked body in the game without her consent, Quantic Dreams has a lot to answer for the due to this press statement. Also, David Cage, judging you by your work is not a good way of defending yourself. It just deflects your own shortcomings and actually puts you in the guilty seat. Next up on the docket, Square Enix has announced the Final 15 Royal Edition to come to PS4 and the Xbox One. Stated for release on 6th of March, the Royal Edition will include all the DLC for this game as well as extra features. These features will include an all-new dungeon, first-person mode, a royal vessel which turns a car into a boat, extra gear and bosses, as well as other previously released DLC. The Royal Edition will also be coming to PC on the same day with native 4K HDR10, Dolby Atmos, and mod support. My thoughts on this. So, having this version come out with the extra stuff on top of the regular game is great. There is also talk that you'd have to buy this version separately to your regular game, but there is actually going to be an add-on for US $19.99 for this game, so you can just buy it and tack it on to your regular game without having to purchase a whole second version. I never actually played the base, but as it is coming out on the PC with both versions, the Royal and the regular edition, I might actually go for this version because the complete edition would be great to play for the game itself. Last on the news docket today, Nintendo has announced Labdo, an experiment for the Switch which creates new functions and controllers for the console. Announced on Thursday, the Labdo is a creative suite for the Switch that allows the making of controls and other items for the console. This includes a piano, a fishing rod, and even a robot-like VR design. All functions and controls are made by Carbon, with 2 different versions being marketed, the base model and the giant model itself. My thoughts on this. So, this is a great idea. This is like what LEGO did with Mindstorms in the way of making engineering and programming more accessible to kids, but the console version, in a console version itself, and heavily biodegradable parts. It really pushes ingenuity as well as free thought, and hopefully will help children and future generations want to get into programming and engineering to help design and further the future of the human race. Furthermore, on the product itself, from what I've heard, the initial costs actually come from the program, the game itself, whereas the add-ons and cardboard bits can be sold separately, but are actually going to be a lot cheaper, so that means people who want to go further into this game, do more programming and have a little bit more fun, it's achievable and it won't break the book, so get on it. So that's it for Ninja News this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back to streaming this Friday. Dragon Ball FighterZ. Get that right. Dragon Ball FighterZ. Remember that, people. It's Fighters, not FighterZ. It's Fighters is all one word. I'll be busting that out this week, as well as Dark Souls 3 is coming back. So hope to all see you then. In the meantime, have a good week. I'll catch you next time.